this lesson, we will learn how to properly work with context and with prompts in Cursor. Specifically, we'll see how we can mention different links, how we can add images, how we can tag files and folders, and also how to work with documentation, how to add custom external documentation, how to use it in your project. Let's get back to our interview prep. So we have a number of uncommitted changes. When I want to commit them, I usually go here and there is a button to generate commit message in Cursor. You see the message is generated. It usually uses previous commits to understand how your message style should look like. So if you change this message a couple of times, in future, generated message will be better and closer to what you usually do yourself. Okay, let's commit. Now let's get back to our agents view. So here, as you can see, Cursor suggests us to use tag symbol for context. Let's take a look at why and when we need those. So the first thing you see here is tagging files. Tagging files is usually very useful because the agent, it doesn't know the whole structure of your project. And usually it tries to find some files, it reads files. And so if you, as a developer, you know which file you want to modify or which file you would like to include into the context, I think it's a very good practice to just tag files, say page.tsx, if you want to modify page.tsx, and it will just save you tokens. It will improve your results, and it will keep agent less confused. The second thing you can tag in Cursor Agent is a folder. So if you type add, then you can start typing some folder name, for example, API, and you see there's API folder, so we can just click enter, and this folder will be included in the context. So we don't know precisely what will be included. If you go to documentation, you'll see that Cursor provides the folder path and overview of its content to help AI understand what's available. So I assume it's not content of every file in this folder, but probably they have some summary of a folder somewhere generated during the indexing, or at least list of files. But still, if you want to work with some folder, it's a good practice to tag it in the agent. Another two important things you can include in context of your agent are images and links. So if you want to include images, usually you can just drag and drop. So for example, if you have a screenshot on Mac, then you can see this screenshot appears here, then you can just drag and drop it here. It's quite useful to add screenshots when you work with some web development or mobile development, or you have a UI. Feel free to go to your website, make a screenshot of what doesn't work or what you want to improve, go to Cursor, and then just drag and drop it. You already saw how we included a link to Nebius Studio. So you can go to any link, just copy it in your browser, go back to agent and just paste it, and you'll see it here. And in this case, Cursor will fetch all the content from this link. This is very helpful when you find some tutorial. For example, if you want to integrate database authentication with your project and you found some tutorial on Medium, you can just include this tutorial as a link to your context, and Cursor will automatically go to this page, fetch the content from that link, and use it to implement. You can explicitly ask Cursor to follow some tutorial. Apart from files, folders, images, and links, in Cursor, you can also include documentation to a lot of different libraries, and it is already included and indexed by Cursor. So for example, I work with Next.js project. I can just tag add and start typing Next.js, and you see that Next.js official documentation Next.js, so you can just tag it. So it's usually a good practice to include documentation, especially while working with libraries that are constantly updated and you want to use some new features. Obviously, standard LLMs, they are not aware of the newest features, like which were released like a month ago. But when you include documentation, it's up to date and it's indexed. It means that agent can use some parts of these documentations that are relevant to your request in order to implement something.